One day before Friday. That makes it a Thursday. How you doing, guys? We're doing good.
Hey, 2 days after Tuesday.
Wow.
Pretty
That's even more important
I'm telling you,
than the
I'm
day
telling
before.
you. Hey, you guys come here for a profound insight.
That's some big stuff right there. We're talking about shame and guilt. We're talking about the Apostle Peter, the one I know you relate to the most. I do as well, just because of his...
I picture Peter as overweight as well.
Yeah, he would
I don't know
have
if he was.
he'd have liked wings like us for sure. No doubt about that.
And he'd have been an Astros fan, not a Red Sox fan. But anyway, that's another story for another
Please
day.
forgive. Pray for him, will you? You can't let go.
Someone actually told me the other day that God does not care about baseball and who wins or loses the World Series.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
I think he likes all sports.
Yeah. I think he especially
You helped
likes
me out with that with
He
last
especially
week's
likes
stuff.
baseball. But anyway, let's go.
I want to ask you, you said Jesus did not shame Peter after Peter failed him.
Yes.
What we call failed
Multiple
him.
times.
Right. But when he restored him in John 21, the great restoration story, I've heard it preached so often. Jesus looked at him, and just as Peter denied him 3 times, Jesus looked at him 3 times and said, "Do you love me?" What was he saying when he said, "Do you love me"? Wasn't he saying, "Hey, dude,
You failed 3 times. I'm going to remind you 3 times that you need to love me better."
hey, Joker, yeah.
Yeah. And imagine Jesus. Jesus isn't sitting there telling Peter, "Peter, you need to do better next time."
It can't be. That's
Peter,
not who
you need
he
to do
is,
better
right?
next time. Peter, you need to do better next time. You failed 3 times. I'm going to remind you 3 times you need to do better. No, not at all. Here's what I love about that story. So imagine, picture this. Peter was so discouraged and felt so hopeless and overwhelmed after Jesus had died and after he had denied Jesus that he literally gave up walking with God, gave up his ministry, gave up the call of God on his life, and he went back to his old life of fishing. He completely got, that's how discouraged he was.
His friends of 3 years left him all behind.
And just went back to fishing. So now he's back to fishing, not even really maybe thinking about Jesus. And look who shows up. And the interesting thing is, when Jesus shows up,
Made him breakfast.
he helped him catch more fish. And then he cooked breakfast for him, served him. And now here they sit, and Peter realizes this is Jesus now, and they're talking. And, you know, if I'd have been Jesus, I would have said, "Peter, we need to talk." And then I would have probably kind of recounted, "Peter, you realize that you know, you denied me, not just once, twice, 3 times. And you remember when you told me, you promised me you wouldn't deny me? Well, yeah, how did that work out, Mr. Peter? And by the way, when I needed you in the garden and you were supposed to be praying with me and praying for me, what did you do, Peter? Yeah, you fell asleep. And then you wake up and you chop the friggin' dude's ear off." Jesus didn't say any of that. Instead, Jesus focused on the relationship. Jesus helped him catch fish. Jesus cooked him breakfast. Jesus sat there and related with him and listened to his heart and spent time with him. And then,
Hallelujah.
when Jesus chose to focus on, okay, what are we going to do with Peter's failure? What are we going to do with all of this junk that Peter's done? Jesus did this. Jesus said, "Peter, do you love me?" "Yes." "Okay, go feed my sheep." And here's what Jesus was communicating to Peter. "Peter, it's about our relationship. It's not about your performance. It's not about how hard you worked or how big you failed. It is about our relationship. Are we loving one another? Are we together? And that's all that really matters, Peter. So do you love me?" "Yes." "Okay. If you love me, then let's walk together, and I want you to go do the thing I've called you to do." So there was no recounting of Peter's litany of failures. There was no reminder for Peter to, don't forget you failed in points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It was, "Peter, we have a relationship. We love one another. And I want you to, out of that love and that relationship that we have, I want you to go do the thing I called you to do. I didn't call you to fish. I called you to go walk with people and love people and help people." And that is what happened there. So there's no guilt in terms of heaping shame upon Peter. There's forgiveness, and there's cleansing, and there's a reminder. It's the relationship that we have that matters. Now go and do what I've called you to do.
Did you hear how good Jesus is in that story? It brings tears to my eyes. I'm going to share a verse with you tomorrow that changed my life. It correlates with what Troy's talking about here. Know this. Jesus loves you, wants relationship with you, and has set you free. We'll talk tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.